You can grow hemp anywhere. It's really good to eat, regardless of your diet. You can make anything out of it.
How do you eat it?
How do you eat it?
And
Chocolate.
chocolate.
It's all right. It's really good for the environment. You can, and there's no reason, no good reason that it's illegal. So, you know, just to make sure we're on the same page, I want to wrap up. Also, fun fact for those of you who don't know, guess who's the #1 importer of hemp in the world? Any guesses? USA, number one, USA. So really quickly, I wanna have some time for some quick community announcements. I also wanna talk a little about why did we do a hemp event, because typically, you know, for those of you who have been to NY before, we're mostly cannabis focused. I think for our community and our movement and the vision of the people who spoke here, for that to come to fruition, it's not gonna be enough for all of us to get together. You know, when I asked who here hasn't used cannabis, there weren't a lot of arms that went up. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever it is, those people are the majority. And if we want anything to happen, we as the people in cannabis culture have to have the conversation and provide the education for people that don't know about cannabis. So please, please, please take something you learned today and talk to someone or invite someone to join the meetup who is skeptical, who doesn't think, oh, it's a drug crowd, I'm not in the drug crowd. Well, hemp is not a drug. You know, there's no psychoactive elements, and if you want to open that conversation with someone underinformed or a little more conservative, don't talk about cannabis, talk about hemp. Talk about how it saves the planet, talk about how anyone can grow it, talk about how it's one of the best things you could eat, you know, and see if you could get them to start thinking a little differently about this plant. There was something else, but I don't remember. Anyway, really quickly, next month we'll be doing an event as part of Internet Week. We'll be focusing back on cannabis and technology and how the two industries are colliding. The month after we'll be doing the history of Prohibition. So if you like Dana Beal and you want to hear a little more from him, he's got some great stories. He'll be sharing some of that. Oh, I remember the other thing I wanted to point out. Hemp, like, all right, can we agree that the US is the forefront of tech innovation? Like, okay, great. So think about when you combine something like hemp with something like 3D printing, which have never been, you know, together ever. But imagine if every family was growing hemp in their backyard, living in a hemp house, making all their, you know, whatever 25,000 things you can make with hemp. Huh?
Hemp cars.
Exactly, hemp cars. There's someone in Canada.
Henry Ford, but then Motive Industries, the Kestrel.
Yeah.
You know, which is actually has disappeared.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, wasn't mentioned today, but the hemp home, zero emissions.
Actually, hemp is used in Mercedes and BMW, so it's you know,
The Motive's a full deal.
There's a man in
Not a
Canada
full
building a hemp airplane, completely hemp.
very light.
Very light. Awesome. So some really quick community announcements. I'm honored to bring up Jack Cole. For those of you who don't know him, he's the founder of LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. So officers and former officers who think that the war on drugs is a big failure and should be ended. I'm really honored to have him here. He's going to make a quick announcement about the cannabis parade. I'm going to bring him up to do that.
When you're talking about all this stuff, if you want it legal, the best group, the most credible group out there to make this stuff legal is LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. It's this symbol, and we wear these shirts when we march and stuff that say this. Cops say legalize drugs, ask us why. And we got all the answers to it. We've been around for now 13 years. I started with 4 other cops, and now it's got over 150,000 police, judges, prosecutors, prison officials. We've got We have supporters in 120 countries, and just last April we were accepted by the UN as a NGO with consultant status, ECOSOC, so now we have access to the International Commission on Narcotic Drugs. And the first thing we did when we went there was we put in an amendment to the international drug laws that says, in effect, if you accept this amendment, it will give all the member states in the UN the right to self-determination. They'll no longer have to say whatever drug is illegal in the US is also illegal in our country. They can start experimenting. And if you remember your history, that's all that happened when we ended alcohol prohibition. The federal government didn't say alcohol is now legal in 1933. They just said we're no longer in the equation. This is up to the states. And then we had every state experimenting. And once they started experimenting, the natural thing was legalizing. Well, the same thing will happen here if we can get the UN to have 186 countries have self-determination. But what I wanted to ask you is, we're going to march in that march Saturday. I think we're going to lead it off, and we got a great 25-foot banner that says "End the drug war, stop the killing," and we want everybody to join with us, if you will. We're going to form up at 11 o'clock there at 32nd Street, just north of 32nd Street at the Mesquite or something cafe, Marquee Cafe on the east side of Broadway, just north of 32nd Street. And we got T-shirts for anybody that wants to join us and march with us. And if you want to join, put your name down. All you need is your name, your email, and your zip code on here. And if you want to march, put a size of a T-shirt over here. But if you just want our newsletter, put your name and email and zip code down anyway. When we get a couple million people who finally say, these police judges and prosecutors are saying something that makes sense, we'll go to Washington, D.C. and force them to change these laws.
Yes.
Anybody that signs up today not only gets a chance to walk with us, but they get one of our badges here.
All right.
One more real quick announcement, and also just so you guys know, as Dana Beal announced, High NY will be in the march, but I encourage all of you guys to join the Leap gang instead, because they have free T-shirts and they're international. So go jump on. I'll be there, man.
And also, you know, with all this stuff that we just saw going by here, all this police brutality, all these police killings, that is exacerbated greatly by the war on drugs. Yes. We are trained to go to war against the people who live here. They become our enemies. If we can end the war on drugs, we'll end a lot of this stuff. So join us.
Two last things. I promise these are the two last things. We announced last month that we're doing the New York City Cannabis Film Festival, which is coming up this fall. We're officially accepting submissions now, so if you have filmmaker friends that you think would want to put their artwork in and raise cannabis awareness and get international exposure, send them our way. They could find it on Film Freeway.
Yeah, if you just go to nyccff.com, there's a button for Film Freeway.
Perfect. And the other thing is nyccff.com. New York City Cannabis Film Festival, but shortened.com. The other thing is there's going to be a parade after party that Scott is throwing. So if you want to, have some more fun after the parade, hit up Scott's after party. It'll be a good time.
There are flyers over there.
There are flyers, and please invite someone to meetup.com/high-ny. Share the knowledge, share the education, especially with people who are outside of cannabis culture, because we need them on board. 2016 is coming, the election is coming. Let's have a voice. Let's not let this kind of know, whatever. Thank you all so much.